Meet the sheriffs.
My name's Mr. Griggs. My colleague and I are enforcement agents.
Here with a High Court order today.
They work for the High Court, and if a judge says you're owed money, it's the sheriff's job to go and get it.
Hey, all the keys. I'm going to be calling a locksmith.
They can demand payment on the spot.
What can you pay us now?
We're going to get the cash, are you?
Are you paying the bill?
Or remove assets instead.
You've got 30 minutes to make the payment.
And we'll start removing stuff from the building.
You'll have a week to pay in full before it gets sold at auction.
Obstructing their work can be a criminal offence.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Don't lie to me.
No mess tins.
Every year, sheriffs in England and Wales recover unpaid debts totalling more than £80 million. Coming up, Ian and Valerie paid thousands of pounds for a new bathroom, but the work was never done.
We just fell into the trap that we trusted him.
Rob and Gerald track down the man responsible and tell him it's finally time to pay up.
Tell her I will get that, I promise.
Right. Yeah, but you're going to have to get that now.
Georgiana started a new job, but wasn't paid for months on end.
They owe me 5 months of my salary. I said enough is enough.
It's down to Billy to get what she's owed.
If you pay that now, that's as high as it's going to go, and that's going to be the matter resolved.
And when they visit a shop with a debt, everyone's counting on the sheriffs.
I got 555.
Yeah, and here I got 510.
This morning, High Court enforcement agents Rob Foster and Gerald Anderson are on their way to a residential address in Kent.
Looking for Mr. Adrian Hayes, who's a debt of just over £3,500. It looks like he's a builder.
Rob knows from experience that enforcements are often more difficult at residential rather than commercial premises. Today hinges on finding enough assets to cover the debt.
All we can hope on this occasion is that the defendant does have a vehicle of sufficient value or tools of sufficient value, or even a garage next to his property full of building equipment. That would be our hope in order to get this matter rectified.
Schoolteacher Valerie Selby first came across Mr. Hayes when she and her husband Ian decided they needed some work doing on their home.
We were looking for somebody to do our bathroom, shower room and toilet.
I'd had a few leaks in the shower room upstairs, which I repaired a couple of times. It needed completely doing properly.
Ian and Valerie decided to get someone in to start the work as quickly as possible.
Timescale, we wanted it done, this was October, we wanted it done by Christmas.
A family friend had just had a new bathroom fitted, and Ian and Valerie were impressed when they saw photos of the work. They contacted the fitter, a Mr. Adrian Hayes, and he came round to quote for the job. Total price £8,145.
It sounded fair enough to me, bearing in mind he was recommended by a family friend and we'd seen his work. It all seemed a good deal, you know.
He was a really friendly person, and seemed trustworthy.
I contacted him again for him to come round, and we'll give him a deposit as long as he could guarantee to us that he could do the job by Christmas.
Mr. Hayes told the Selbys if they wanted the work doing quickly, he'd need 7 of the £8,000 paid up front.
Both me and my husband thought it was quite excessive what he'd asked us for, but I think because our friend had been really happy with the work that he'd done, we were sort of swayed to go with him.
They took out a bank loan to cover the cost of the job and paid Mr. Hayes the £7,000 he'd asked for. They expected work to start promptly, but it didn't.
For weeks and weeks we didn't hear anything.
We was contacting him via email, via text, via phone call. This just went on and on. Sometimes he'd answer the phone, sometimes he wouldn't. It was always one excuse after another. I've got too much work on at the moment. I can't start it yet. When can you start it? When I know, you'll know. They were the sort of answers we were getting.
The Christmas deadline came and went.
We were really disappointed that we weren't going to have our new bathrooms. But we didn't really know what to do or where to go. We was lost.
Then they received a recorded delivery letter from Mr. Hayes.
about February. He sent us a letter apologising for the hold-up, making lots of excuses, saying that he had other work on.
By this stage, the Selbys had almost given up on Mr. Hayes. But what happened next came as a complete surprise.
One day a lorry turned up outside with a pallet load of bathroom goods. When it arrived, I thought to myself, oh, well, at least we're starting to get somewhere.
But any hopes were quickly dashed. Mr. Hayes wrote again, this time saying he was considering closing down his business. It was the final straw.
Somebody takes your money and then gives you nothing in return. It's really stressful.
It's just constantly going through your mind. He's walked away with hard-earned money for nothing.
Ian and Valerie decided to keep the fittings and get the job done by someone else. So they wrote to Mr. Hayes demanding their deposit back, minus the £3,000 he'd paid out for the fittings.
We're not stupid. We do know that you shouldn't give over that much money. We just desperately wanted it done. We just fell into the trap that we trusted him, and we shouldn't have.
Mr. Hayes didn't give them their money back, so they took the matter to the courts, and a judgment was made in their favour. Mr. Hayes was ordered to pay them back at the rate of £200 a month. The first few payments came through, but then they stopped. The county court bailiffs pursued the debt.
The bailiffs went back again and again and again, and he was never in. On one occasion they did actually find him. He told them that he had paid us back the money in full, which he hadn't.
The Selbys have now transferred the case to the High Court and called in the sheriffs.
The sheriffs are our last hope of getting our money back, really. We've tried everything else, nothing's succeeded, so we've, gone with the sheriffs.
The amount owed today, including fees, is £3,638. Rob and Gerald are about to pay Adrian Hayes a visit. By now, he's had the Selbys' deposit for more than 2 years, and Gerald is determined to get their money back.
I do feel for them like this. I will be going all out today to see if I can rectify this for the claimant.
The difficulty is going to be finding assets of sufficient value that Mr. Hayes doesn't want to lose. As they approach, Gerald spots a van parked outside the debtor's home.
There is an asset on the drive. There's a van on the drive. 04 plate, probably only worth in the hundreds, not the thousands.
Removing the van won't come close to clearing the debt. The sheriffs are expecting this to be a difficult enforcement.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Is it Mr. Adrian Hayes?
Speaking.
Hello, Mr. Hayes. My name's Mr. Ransom.
Gerald explains that they're here to collect the money owed to Mr. and Mrs. Selby.
That's been paid, Selby. This has been going on and on for weeks.
Gerald has no record of the debt being paid and will need to see evidence.
You prove to me it's been paid and I'll walk away from here, but at the moment, as far as we're concerned, you've got a debt of £3,638.92.
That's been paid.
Mr. Hayes disappears inside to find the proof the sheriffs need. Because it's a residential address, the sheriffs can't force entry, but they can enter peaceably if there's a door left open.
Just bear with me 2 seconds.
Yep, no problem at all.
Mr. Hayes goes to his office, which is in the back garden, in search of paperwork. Rob and Gerald take the opportunity to size up any assets.
I can see toolboxes. Do you want me to go and have a look?
Yeah, you crack on.
I'll go and have a look.
I'll wait here.
Yeah, anyways.
Rob goes to join Mr. Hayes in his office.
We have gained peaceful entry. He's gone down the back garden there to look at some types of paperwork. He's got a shed at the back garden which seems to be an office of some kind. Rob has gone down there now and gained entry into there as well.
Mr. Hayes tells Rob he gave the money to a financial advisor called John and instructed him to contact the county court and settle the debt. Rob calls the court to check out his story.
I've got a warrant number here.
The court confirms it has received 2 cheques. One of them, worth £1,500, has cleared, but the other has bounced.
Ah, right, okay.
Which means Mr. Hayes still owes Mr. and Mrs. Selby more than £2,000.
Right, okay, well, we'll continue at the moment. Thank you, bye-bye.
But Mr. Hayes doesn't want to give the sheriffs any money at all. He says he's already given the money to John, so the debt should have been cleared.
I've already paid it. I'm asking these sheriffs if they can they go away and I'll go and sort this John out.
But the sheriffs aren't going anywhere. If need be, they'll start removing what assets there are, and that includes the van parked outside.
I've taken now the van key off the bunch of keys. I'll keep hold of that for safekeeping, just in case I've got to remove this vehicle.
Back inside, Rob's on the phone to Mrs. Selby, letting her know that some of the money she's owed has been paid to the county court. She'll be getting that money in the next few days.
I have spoken to the county court and they've confirmed there is a £1,500 cleared payment due to come out. I'm happy it's there. The county court have confirmed as such, so I'm happy with that, as long as you're happy with that.
Please, Mrs. Selby, I paid this in April.
Right, I can't hear what the claimant's saying if you're shouting, all right?
Mrs. Selby says she's happy to deduct £1,500 from the amount on the writ. But she still wants the rest of the money she's owed, a total of more than £2,000.
Yeah, I think the remainder of it is the cheque that didn't clear. It's the one that.
Yeah, I'll get that. I'll tell her I will get that. I promise.
Right. Yeah, but you're going to have to get that now.
The penny is finally starting to drop. It doesn't matter how many times he blames his financial advisor, John. Mr. Hayes will have to clear the outstanding balance today.
Brilliant. We'll give you an update later. All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Gerald does the maths and tells Mr. Hayes exactly how much he needs to find.
We're enforcing today for £3,638.92 on enforcement stage 1. I'm happy enough to deduct £1,500 off that, because we know it's sat there waiting, and enforce for you for £2,138.92. If you can make payment of that in the next 15-20 minutes, we're finished. If not, that'll then go up to the next stage and then the next stage. That needs to be sorted out now, as the claimant has said. If not, they're happy that they want to enforce, because it's been long enough given.
Well, I've got no choice, otherwise you're going to take stuff. I'm going to pay this £2,100 now. I'll pay it now.
Yep.
I'm going to have to pay it, ain't I? And I'll go get my money off him.
We'll go and get this card machine and we'll just get paid.
It looks like they're about to get payment in full, a total of £2,138.
He now does realise he has got to sort it. After much persuasion, he's now decided to make payment in full by debit card. So I'm just about to go in now with my PDQ and receive it.
Mr. Hayes is still blaming his financial advisor, John, for not clearing the debt. He says he's not going to let him get away with it.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. I'll go and see him now. He's going to have to give me this money. Otherwise it's going to be a murder in Welling.
Unfortunately, we have to take comments like that seriously. Can I just confirm that you are joking?
I am joking. Yeah.
Right, okay, that's fine. Just need to confirm.
Mr. Hayes' grievance with his financial advisor is no concern of the sheriffs. Their job is to execute the writ and get Mr. and Mrs. Selby the money they're owed.
If you put your PIN number in and then the green button, please. Okay, that's gone through, Rob.
Once he's paid up, Mr. Hayes tells us he's had a change of career, which explains why he's so keen not to lose his van.
I did kitchens and bathrooms and I pulled away from it. And I owed people money, you know, I just got into trouble and I've dealt with it now. But, well, I thought I'd dealt with it all. I'm a courier now. I deliver parcels.
All right, Mr. Hayes, thank you very much.
Cheers, Mr. Hayes, thanks now. Ta-da.
As for Mr. Hayes, he appears regretful and says he took out a loan and paid it to his financial advisor with the intention of clearing his debts.
I'm not a crook, I don't want to rob people, so I wanted to give them their money back. So we got advised to go and see this guy, and he sorted out a bridging loan to handle my affairs, which he obviously hasn't done. I'll do what I have to do, John. I'll deal with John.
It's been a complex case, but the sheriffs have secured the outstanding balance.
All in all, this seems to be a dead case, asset-wise. Payment in full. Very good.
Ian and Valerie Selby will now finally get the money they've been owed for more than 2 years.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that we'd got the money.
What a relief for it finally to be over.
They did a marvellous job. Really pleased with the sheriffs.
Yeah.
Well worth the money that we paid out.
Absolutely.
Using the county courts to try and recover money you're owed isn't difficult. 1.5 million money claims are paid every year in England and Wales, involving anything from faulty goods or poor workmanship to unpaid invoices. Claims can be filed online or by post for a small fee. Both parties in the case will be asked to submit evidence, and you may have to attend a court hearing. If you're successful, a county court judgment, or CCJ, will be issued against the debtor. If they still don't pay, that's when you call the sheriffs.
Stonehenge.
It's nearly 3 p.m, and Rob and Gerald are on their way to Somerset, heading to a Polish grocer and deli.
Today we're down in Yeovil, looking for a company called Maron Shop Limited. It's a tribunal case. At the moment we're looking for around about £1,300.
Gerald's expecting the shop to have some valuable stock.
Asset-wise, you're going to have the dry goods and the normal shop goods, but the things of value will be the spirits, alcohol, cigarettes, etc. So I would hope that the assets would cover this debt if it went that way.
The debt is owed to a woman who worked at the shop. When her employment ended, she wasn't paid her outstanding holiday allowance. She won her case, but the shop didn't pay up. Today, Rob and Gerald have a writ for the £1,316 she's owed.
I believe it's that shop there, the one with the yellow writing on it.
As they head in to introduce themselves, Gerald notices the debtors have their name printed above the door.
Looking for the Maron Shop Limited. We've got a High Court writ for an outstanding balance owed to an ex-employee. There's my identification. Is the director about? Mr. Rondos, isn't it?
It's in Poland.
He's in Poland, yeah?
Is he?
It's coming 2 weeks.
The woman says Mr. Rondos lives in Poland and hasn't been at the shop for 10 days. But this is the company's registered address, and regardless of where he lives, it's the director's responsibility to read what the court sends out.
Can you get hold of him on the phone? That's the balance, £1,316.23. He has to pay that today, or we remove goods, okay?
I'm going to have a little nosy, see what sort of stock's here.
Rob and Gerald are reluctant to remove perishable goods, like these sausages. But there are plenty of items here to clear the debt, including the spirits they were hoping for. With so much stock available, the sheriffs aren't going to accept anything less than full payment. The boss is on the phone, and he says the debt is nothing to do with Maron Shop Limited. He says the woman worked for a company called Arabat, which used to trade from this address.
Right. Tell him I'm aware that Arabat is a dissolved company.
Dissolved 20th of June 2017.
Yeah.
Arabat did.
Maron Shop Limited is the name on the writ, and that's the company responsible for paying the debt. But the boss is refusing to pay, and that's about to cost him.
It's now going up a stage. All right, we've asked him a simple question to pay it, and he's saying that it's a different company. It's not. All right, so it's now going up to the next stage. So it's now 1,910.
This lady is not work for my boss. It's different boss before in Arabat. He did not understand.
No, I know. But the problem is we're against Maron Shop Limited, which are the ones that are trading here.
Mr. Rondos, the director of Maron Shop Limited, was also a director of the dissolved company, Arabat Limited. There's a certificate showing that he's still the licensee of the premises.
All the paperwork there proves that the company we're pursuing are the companies trading from here.
Whatever the boss says, Rob knows he's in the right place, and he's getting on with the job.
Shalane, I'm going to have a look in the tills.
Sheriffs have the power to open shop tills and seize their contents.
20, 40, 60, 80, 250, Jet. You make a note of that, please.
At that moment, a man arrives. He heads straight to the back of the shop and then to the front door.
Don't lock the door.
If you want to keep customers out, no problem, but leave the key in, okay?
Otherwise, I feel like I'm being locked in. Thank you.
Their exit route secured, Rob's back on the hunt behind the counter. And he's found a woman's clutch bag.
Is that yours?
Yes.
Okay, can you do me a favour and just open it just to show it's not company cash in there?
It's company cash.
It is it?
How much is this? I need to write.
There's 250 there, all right?
There's some interesting paperwork in the bag.
There's HM Revenues letters in the name of Marin Shop Limited.
It's on the till receipts.
It's all Marin Shop.
There's also a lot more cash. Rob and Gerald split it between them and start counting.
I got 555.
Yeah, and here I got 510 and 250 there. That gives us a total of 1,315.
It's only £1 short of what they were initially looking for. But since then, the director has talked himself into a Stage 2 fee, and now the bill has gone up.
Is there any more cash on the premises? Otherwise, we've got to remove stock.
Rob would much rather get the remainder paid than add further fees by taking the job to the removal stage.
Do you want to phone him again?
That's it now, £594, that's all he needs to pay. Even if he's in Poland, we can send him a link to his phone, and he can just make the payment.
But Rob never gets to speak to Mr. Rondos himself. Instead, the director arranges with the manager that she'll pay the balance on his behalf.
I'll pay my card.
Paying by card.
If you could put your PIN number in and then the green button, please. And I will give you a receipt now for the cash.
And with that, the sheriff's job is done.
Thanks, sir. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, all in all, very good results. Dealt with. Quite an easy one, as there were assets there that would have covered the debts, but obviously we didn't want to remove. That would have escalated it even more. A cash payment was received and the debt has been paid in full. It's now complete.
The director ended up paying in full and costing himself an extra £594 because of his initial refusal to pay. High Court enforcement agent Billy Evans is in Harrow, northwest London.
We're off to see a PHC Care Home Limited. Had a little Google search and the address looks like it's going to be a shop front. But obviously, given the name, it sounds like it's going to be a carer's service delivered to people's homes. So not 100% sure what to expect here. Might be a couple of computers, possibly cars if they got any parking. But I don't think it's a care home as such. But we shall see what we can find when we get there.
Billy's in pursuit of a debt owed to a former PHC employee. Georgiana Barner arrived in the UK from Romania, hoping to embark on a new career and a new life with her boyfriend, Adrian.
When I came, I searched for jobs. I was hoping to find a job in the finance because I have a degree and I have a master in finance, in economic science.
She couldn't get the job she was looking for, but rather than do nothing, within a few weeks of arriving in the UK, she started working for PHC Home Care, an agency providing care for the elderly.
I worked as a carer first. Then after 2 weeks, I started to work in their office doing administrations, and everything was all right at the beginning.
Georgiana enjoyed the caring side of the job, but her real interest lay in other areas.
Helping people, I felt very good, but my ambition was to get into finance. They said to me, we will have a big business, we will have shares, I will give you 40% of my shares, you will be a financial director. All these promises made me have trust in them.
Georgiana worked hard, hoping to make a good impression.
I was very busy from the morning up until the evening doing both jobs. Usually I start at 7 o'clock in the morning and finish about 10 o'clock in the evening. So that were really long hours, and obviously my salary was the minimum wage.
At first, she was paid regularly, at the end of every month. But as time went on, that started to change.
I believe that they disappointed me. We were getting paid late, we were getting paid in installments. I was very stressed on that time. Without any money, you cannot go forward. So I was very lucky with my boyfriend because he helped me to survive. He helped me to survive and to have food and everything you need in your life. Because without any money, obviously we were struggling.
She decided to cut back her hours and work part-time. and she started looking for another job.
That period I was feeling very ill. All these things affected me in many ways.
For 5 months, she didn't get paid at all. It put a strain on her finances and her relationship.
I had arguments with my boyfriend because why you don't do anything about that, why you are still working there, why you don't leave. He told me from the beginning this is not right, and I did not want to listen. I just believed in them and helped them to have their business. After 5 months promising me they will pay me, please bear with us, I will pay you next week, next week, next week, and the next week, and they still haven't paid me. My final message to him was, if you don't pay me today in full all my money, I will leave.
Despite the ultimatum, Georgiana still didn't get the money she was due.
They owe me 5 months of my salary. I said enough is enough, and I just left.
She got a new job working in payroll and office management and reluctantly took her former employer to court.
I got my judgment and still no money. So I waited and waited. I didn't know what to do anymore. I'm really desperate. It's like no one can get back my money.
In a final attempt to get her unpaid wages, Georgiana has called in the sheriffs.
They are my last hope, to be honest. I don't know what to do anymore.
The amount owed today, including fees, is £1,774. It's now up to Billy to try and get Georgiana the money she's owed. He's in Harrow and about to arrive at PHC Home Care.
Right, so it's apparently up here on the right-hand side.
The address on the writ is System's House.
System House? It's an empty shop.
At first glance, it looks deserted.
I've got 20/20 vision and I can't see anything in the windows, but as I get closer it may surprise me, may be different, but we'll go and have a look.
Billy's concerned this could be a wasted journey.
Hang on, it's open. PHC Home Care. Wow, well that's a shock. I thought I had 20/20 vision. It appears I don't, because it looks like it's got PHC Home Care in it, so we'll go and see what we can do. Hello there, sir.
Hi.
Hiya. I'm a High Court enforcement agent.
I'm Eric is the
Is this gentleman? Perfect.
The man on the phone is Company Director Eric Akoum.
Hello, sir. How are you doing? I'm a High Court enforcement agent. Got a High Court writ here against PHC Home Care Limited.
Let's go downstairs.
Okey-doke.
Billy's shown downstairs to a more private area.
Right, so what is this for?
He tells Mr. Akoum that he's enforcing a writ in favour of Georgiana Barner.
So at the moment, the balance is £1,774.75. If you pay that now, that's as high as it's going to go, and that's going to be the matter resolved.
Yeah, and what... Sorry, and if it escalates...
So if that's not paid within sort of 15, 20 minutes, it will go up to that amount. And if that's still not paid because you're refusing to make that payment, it will then go to £3,000 and we'll have to start unplugging assets and removing them.
Just bear with me.
Yep, no worries.
Mr. Akoum leaves the room, and a minute later he returns, clutching his wallet. It looks as if he's going to make payment in full.
Are you paying by card?
Yep.
Right, okay. We'll do it on our website. We have a payment line on our website which basically just works as a transaction.
While he's putting in the case details, Billy tries to engage Mr. Akoum in conversation.
What's the nature of the business? Are you carers?
Home care, yeah.
Right, home care. Right, okay. Right, so if you can fill out these details here.
Small talk over, Mr. Akoum puts in his card details and completes the payment process.
Right, okay, I'll just write down your reference. That's gone through fine. Okay, sir, so that's the matter resolved. That is now paid in full. So we shall leave you in peace, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for your help.
With barely a word spoken, the payment's gone through and the debt's been cleared.
The gentleman wasn't very talkative, didn't really want to know much about the case. He just wanted to get us paid and get us gone. So yeah, it's another paid in full.
It's taken Billy just 15 minutes to get Georgiana the money she's been owed for almost a year.
They were my only hope, and they have my money back. Massive, massive thanks, Billy, for all your help and support, and yeah, I'm very happy. Many thanks. Thank you very much.
When debtors can't pay on the spot,
Are you going to pay the bill?
What do you mean, no?
the sheriffs won't always remove assets. Goods go for almost a fifth of their true value at auction, and it's often better to agree a payment plan.
Do you reckon you can do 200 a week?
They'll make a list of assets.
That's a nice man,
Rice cookers.
7 wrist bracelets.
And a controlled goods agreement is signed, making it an offence for anyone else to remove them.
You sign it, I sign it.
The sheriffs will only return to take the goods if the debtor fails to make payments.
I've signed him up to £1,000 a month. Providing you stick to that, you won't hear from us again.
Enforcement agents John Farley and Tommy Coyle are in Hampshire, with a High Court writ in hand on their way to a car garage.
Early morning in Southampton, heading to AM Mechanical. Outstanding balance we're looking for today is around £2,000.
The debt relates to work AM Mechanical did on a customer's vehicle. The customer claimed a wheel bearing was poorly fitted and caused £1,200 of further damage. They took AM Mechanical to court, but the garage didn't attend. Today, the amount owed is £1,907. John's anticipating some valuable assets.
We're hoping to find maybe a couple of vehicles and things at this one.
They find the unit on an industrial estate.
AM Mechanical, vehicle servicing and repair.
It's exactly what they were hoping for, an asset. It's a sign-written vehicle worth more than the debt.
He's got to pay this.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think my clamp's big enough for that, you know.
Confident that if the debtor doesn't want to pay, they can remove the vehicle to recover the debt, they head in.
Hello? Hi there, mate. AM Mechanical?
Yes.
That's you guys?
It is.
Here in relation to a High Court writ that's been issued.
Right, OK.
You the owner or director?
I'm the apprentice.
Can you get hold of him?
The mechanic calls Anthony Morris, the director, and he says he'll come down to the unit.
Do you know how long he'll be?
It'll be about 5 minutes, buddy. He's literally just on his way down from town. So.
That's
no
ideal.
problem.
Thank you.
There's just time for a quick look around.
It's an expensive toolbox there. Also, there was the pickup on the way in, so I'm going to have a look at that shortly. Depends how the conversation goes.
And that's not all. There's a vehicle key in a box on the wall.
I'll put that in my pocket for now. See what he wants to do when he gets here, because if he don't want to pay, it could be a possible asset that I'll be taking control of.
Tommy's hoping it fits the branded vehicle they saw on the way in. There's also a couple of valuable 4-post vehicle lifts. That's more than enough leverage to get payment in full one way or another. 15 minutes after they arrived, the company director turns up.
Is that him out there now, mate, in the yellow car? Yes. Yeah. Hi, how you doing? Here collecting an outstanding judgment that's been issued.
Okay,
you're aware of it?
Going on there. Yeah, basically last I heard, basically got a letter from your office.
Yeah.
I've been going through county court trying to get a monthly payment sorted.
Yeah.
It was meant to go in front of a judge. My court down here is basically useless.
Yeah.
Ringing them. Yeah, well, we're going to get it up today. It may not be back till Monday. I go, look, I need, you know, I know you guys are coming. I need to put it through.
The courts can take their time sometimes, though, can't they?
It's just, everything just seems to be going wrong.
It's got to the point now where they've issued the writ. The writ tells us to come here and look at removing goods or collect the payment. It's 1907.
Just pay it. I'm sick of it.
Mr. Morris seems to want the debt cleared as much as the sheriffs, but he can't make the payment online from the garage.
I'd have to go to the bank for that because my bank only allow me to, if I haven't ever paid no one before,
Do you want
to transfer £250.
How long will it take to do that now?
I can run up to Shirley, which my bank's about sort of 10 minutes away from me. I can run up there.
We'll do that. We'll have to stay on site here till it's completed. Do you want to take that with you?
If it is easier for you to get the cash, you can just get the cash as well.
Payment's even better. We can do you.
The boss leaves, and true to his word, he's back within 10 minutes. He's clutching the one thing sheriffs like more than expensive goods: an envelope stuffed with cash.
You want me to have a count of that?
Yeah, you have a count of it, and I'll get the receipt started.
Mr. Morris takes £7 and 4 pence from his office to add to the £1,900 he's already handed over.
5,
7, 4.
Excellent. Right, can I just get you to sign there for me and print that?
Yeah.
And with that, the debt is settled to the penny.
I'll give you this back as well. It's the key. Obviously, we're here to see his assets.
Yeah, that's
all right. Don't know how it's going to go.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, Anthony. You take care of yourself, mate.
Immediately said that he wanted to pay it, didn't want it to escalate any further than it needed to. Went off and got the cash and paid in full. So good job.
AM Mechanical might be £1,907 down, but the director can be happy he's discharged the debt and dealt with the sheriffs in the best way possible. In South London, Rob and Gerald are battling their way through the traffic.
Off to Croydon today, looking for London Borough Croydon Council. They're owing just over £1,900.
The debt relates to unpaid legal costs. The total amount owed today is £1,909. Gerald has some experience of dealing with local government.
With councils, what they do feel is that we'll do it, but we'll do it in our time. Yep, no problem at all. Leave us the paperwork, and in the next couple of days, we'll look at the paperwork to try to get it sorted out for you. Well, in our job, that doesn't work. In our job, we are there now today. Today, it needs to be sorted.
Saying just don't hear.
It's not hard to find the address on the writ.
Oh, there it is.
Where?
That big building in front of us.
What, Bernard Brother?
Yeah.
Very big building for the council.
Right, good to go.
Good to go. Oh.
As they make their way towards the front entrance, they discuss strategy.
You Mr. Nice today, or me Mr. Nice?
We'll see who they like.
See who they like.
Yeah.
Well, they're bound to like me then, aren't they?
Yeah.
They head in, and Gerald turns on the charm.
Hello. So my do first. My name is Mr. Anderson. I have a writ here to deal with, I'm afraid.
Ideally, of legal and democratic services.
The receptionist makes a call.
Thank you very much. As long as she comes down and sorts it, no problem at all. If she starts stalling when she comes down, whether there's security gates here or not, we will gain entry and we will go up to whatever floor, whatever level we need to go up to. Looking at the sign there, it's they're dealing on floors 2 to 7. If it means it's going through each one of them floors, then we will.
Sheriffs have the power to force entry to commercial premises in search of a debtor's goods. But today, there's no need, as 3 minutes later, someone arrives to speak to them.
Hello. Hello. All right. My name's Mr. Anderson. I've got a writ here for an outstanding debt that needs to be sorted today.
Can you tell me what it's regarding? Right, okay.
Consent order?
Yeah, I know
costs.
about it. I do know about it. It's been with our finance department. I'll take it upstairs. And
If you could ask your finance department to make a payment of the amount that I'm going to give you.
well, I can do my best. That's what I can do.
If they don't, I'll be wandering around and then walking out with chairs, tables and everything else.
Okay.
I'll give you the paperwork. It's 9:25.
Yeah.
As long as someone comes down to show me proof that everything's been paid by 9:45, then I won't go through here.
Okay.
If it's not been
a
done...
little bit longer than that, till 10, because I've got to find the person who's dealing with it. 15 minutes, because we are a huge organisation.
Oh, a huge organisation should have had it sorted then, shouldn't it, really?
I hear what you say,
I said,
but simply
all
I
right,
can't...
I'll work with you. I'll give you till 10.
Thank you
as long
very
as somebody
much.
has comes down and said, there you go, there's proof that everything's been paid into the correct account. I'll give you all the details now.
Right.
Then I'm out of here. Obviously, come 10 o'clock. If it's not, then I'll go wandering.
Thank
Okay,
you very
cheers.
It sounds as if the council knows about the debt, but for some reason, the finance department haven't paid it. Rob and Gerald can only wait to see whether the woman can get the matter resolved in the half an hour they've given her.
I've given her a little bit of grace, you know, a bit of compassion. We'll see where it goes from there.
Croydon Council's skyscraper opened in 2013 and cost a reported £144 million. Gerald and Rob haven't explored the internal winter garden or been up to the roof terrace, but there's plenty to admire in the lobby.
It's almost like a military badge there, Rob.
It does. Nice little coat of arms. What's that underneath it? Is it Latin?
That's Latin. Ad summa littimor.
What does that mean?
I reckon being at council, it'll probably mean something like strive for perfection.
Not bad, Gerald. It actually means we strive for the highest.
Let's strive for perfection, which we haven't quite reached yet, because we've got a writ against us.
It may not be perfection, but Croydon Council is certainly doing all it can to get its debt cleared. It's 7 minutes to 10, and the woman from legal is back, just in time to beat Gerald's deadline.
Oh, there we are.
Oh, here we go.
She's brought a colleague, who she says will pay the bill.
Okay.
Put through the full amount and see if it will go through in the first instance, please. Thanks.
Exactly what we want to see. There's been no fuss, no hassle.
Put your PIN number in, please, and then the green button.
I'm hoping within the next sort of 20, 30 seconds, the debt will be settled and we'll be on our way.
No, it's declined.
Yeah. Hasn't gone through because it exceeds my limit.
You can do it on a number of cards.
I'd rather do it on one if we can.
Yes, yeah. One receipt's easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
As the council try and find a way to pay the £1,909 they owe, we're asked to leave the lobby by security. We continue to film from outside. 10 minutes later, another council employee comes down to the lobby and makes the payment across a couple of cards.
If you could put your PIN number in, please. Okay, that's gone through, and I'll give you a receipt now.
It took a little longer than they'd have liked, but it's a job well done for Rob and Gerald. They've got their client the money they were rightfully owed.
Sorted, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh?
Yep.
Not a bad little result.
Oh, job done.
And all done in hour and a half.
Yeah.
Quite quick for a council.
There's you. Yeah, that's you, all right. Oh, there's me, look. Top cat.
Yeah, that's who you would like to be. Top cat. Afraid not, though. That's probably you there. Who's that? Popeye?
Looks a lot more like you. No hair. Very aggressive looking Popeye.
Rob might have a point.
Oh!
Croydon Council told us it processes thousands of invoices on time every month. It accepts the payment was due and settled the balance immediately.